In 2017, I got a really, really big idea. It was the kind of idea that's so big that you don't want to tell anyone about it because they'll think you're crazy. Like, if your boss found out about it, you might get fired because he doubts your sanity. But today, I'm going to share that idea with everyone. This is for every basketball player in the world. And if all of you think I'm crazy, then so be it. Because I'm convinced that it makes sense. I'm so convinced that when I lost my job in 2023, I vowed that I wouldn't apply for any more jobs. I said that I'm going to trust God to help me make this idea successful, or I'm going to die trying. Just to give you an idea of how serious this is, I got the first flicker of insight of this idea in 2009, but I didn't commit to it until 2017. And then in 2023, I made it an all-out do-or-die mission. And I'm going to share that idea with you all right here, right now. I'm going to start with a story that'll give you context. Mike Tyson once said, you have to be the champion before you can become the champion. And what he meant by that is, you have to ask yourself, how does a champion fight? And you have to fight like that. And how does a champion train? And you have to train like that. And how does he think? And how does he talk? And how does he spend his time? And you have to do that. That reminded me of a principle that I learned long ago, and I would describe it like this. If you want the title, you have to become the definition. Let's say you wanted the title of being a world champion basketball player. Well, imagine you could look up world champion basketball player in a dictionary, and you would see a definition there, and you said, okay, I'm going to become that, and you set out to do everything that it said there in the definition. Well, who could tell you you're not a world champion basketball player? Actually, a lot of people could, and a lot of people would, and you could argue that you are, and they'd argue that you're not, and you would be stuck right there in an argument. Now, the truth is the truth, whether anyone argues for it or against it. And what if you actually are the best? Doesn't it matter? Doesn't the truth matter that you actually are the best? Well, in our world, it doesn't. You could be the best. That could actually be true, but it doesn't matter. Just being the best isn't good enough, even though it's true. Let's say you wanted to play basketball, so you get in your car, you drive to the gym, and when you walk in the gym, there are 50 guys in there already playing. Now, the truth is, one of those guys is better than all the others. You may not know who he is, but the truth is, one of them is better than all the others. How do you know who it is? How do you know which one is the best? Well, you could walk to center court, and you can stop them from playing and wave your hand and say, hey, everybody, wait, everyone just wait right there. Hold the ball. I have a question to ask. Which of you is the best player in the gym? And then all the hands go up. And then they are all looking at each other like, how dare you raise your hand? I'm better than you. Well, I'm better than you. Well, I'm better than you. Now, one of those guys is telling the truth. One of those guys actually is the best player in that gym. But instead of getting the respect and the recognition and the reward for being the best, you just have a bunch of guys shouting. Here's why. The truth has to become an established fact. How do you establish the fact? Well, the best way to do it is to start running games. And you eliminate the losers and you advance the winners until there's one winner left, and that guy is your champion. That's called an event. That's an event. But it can't just be any event. The event needs to be set up for the purpose of finding out who's the best. And so you can't play teams because you're not looking for the best team. You're looking for the best individual. So it needs to be a single player, one-on-one event. Next, your event has to have the capacity to allow all the players to compete. Next, this event isn't going to organize itself. The event needs to be planned, it needs to be organized, that plan needs to be executed, and it needs to be managed. All of that speaks to one word, intention. It has to be someone's intention to find the best player. And that's it. I've given you the 4 keys to finding the best player in the gym. Did you get them? The mission. The prospect is so complex, it's so sophisticated, you will never ever achieve it on accident. You have to set out with an intention to do this thing. The method. You can have the goal, but your method is your route on the map that shows you how to get there. The event. This is how you arrive at that one decisive moment where the best is established. And it has to be the right format. If you're looking for the best player, it has to be one-on-one. And finally, capacity. If you're looking for the best player in a school, every player in that school must be allowed to compete. If you're looking for the best player in the gym, every player at that gym must have the opportunity to compete. You cannot just take 1% of the players and close the door on 99% of the players and still call your champion a world champion. Your league has to have the capacity to allow for every player to compete. And that's how you find out who is the best player at the gym. Now, in 2017, I had this big, crazy idea. However big you're thinking, think bigger. I thought, what if I use the 4 keys to find the best player in every city? And then, what if I use the 4 keys to find the best player in every state? And then, what if I use the 4 keys to find the best player in every country? What if I could actually find out who is the best basketball player in the world? Now, why am I doing this? Remember what I said about those guys in the gym, about it being true that one of those guys is actually the best? Well, the truth is, out of all the players in your city, one of them is actually better than all the rest. I mean, right now, as you're watching this video, there's someone in your city who is better than all the other players in your city. The best player in every city is already there today, right now. The best player in every state, every country, the best player in the world is out there right now somewhere. Maybe he's somewhere in Europe, maybe Serbia. Let's say he's in Serbia. Let's say his name is Joseph. He's there right now, living there. He has a car, he has an address, he has a life he's living. And nobody knows about him. He's the best player in the world, and nobody knows about him. Nobody knows this. That truth has not become an established fact. And so, even though he's the best player in the world, he's not getting the respect, he's not getting the recognition, and he's not getting the rewards for that truth. How, whoever that guy is, in order for him to be the best in the world, imagine how he has had to dedicate himself to playing this game in order for that to be true of him. Imagine the hours of practice, the years of training and experience and playing and failing and growing and developing to become the best in the world right now. And nobody knows who he is? No reward, no respect, no recognition for that truth. What if we could establish the fact? Would it make a difference in his life if there was an event that established who's the best in the world and Joseph won that event? Would it make any difference in his life? Would he become rich? Would he become famous? If the whole world knew that he's the best player in the world, would it open any doors of opportunity to bring good things into his life? I'm almost certain that it would. And yet, basketball has been around for over 100 years, and we don't have that. And we've never had that. We've never had anyone use the 4 keys to find out who is the best player in every city, who is the best player in the world, so we can respect and recognize and reward that person. That person deserves our respect and our recognition, and he deserves the reward. And yet, nobody knows who this person is. So my big crazy idea was to create a basketball league that would use the 4 keys to find out who's the best basketball player in the world. We would start by crowning a champion in every city, and then in every state, and then in every country. Every country has a national champion. Have those national champions compete in an event. The name I came up with is the Lions Tournament. Have the national champions compete in the Lions Tournament so we can establish the fact that this person right here is the best basketball player on earth. The name for this league, I call it Rimpage. Rim for basketball, page like a page in a storybook. Stories about basketball players, because every player has a story that deserves to be told. Every player has the right to finish his story, to find out how far could I go, what's possible for me. And I think nothing should stand in the way of a player getting a truthful answer to the question, does greatness lie within me? Do I have what it takes? I'm doing this because I believe every player out there who is the best player in his city, state, country deserves to be rewarded, to be recognized, to be respected for his skill. And basketball has been around for over 100 years, and no one has ever done that. And so I said, I'll do it. So it's done. Rimpage exists today. Finally, we have a league that will use the 4 keys to find the best player in every city, every state, every country, and to establish who is the best player in the world. And just a quick note, because I know many of you believe we already know who is the best player in the world, and you're probably thinking it's whoever's the most popular player in the NBA. This is not a popularity contest. This is about skill. And whoever you're thinking of, maybe he is the best. I don't know. That's the whole point. We need to establish the fact. Whoever he is, he can't be recognized for being the best until we establish the fact. That's the whole point. So this is for you. This is my personal message and invitation for every basketball player on earth who believes they have something special within them, but they've never had a stage where they could go and prove it. Now you have a stage. Rimpage is your stage. Go prove your truth. If you believe in this vision, if you believe the truth should be established, then I invite you to join Rimpage. Start your story.